You know, one thing I respect about the Jokr is that they've been grinding. Like, this isn't a team after Season 2 that's like, all right, we're going to wait till Season 3 starts before we're going to actually put in time. No, they've constantly been battling it out, constantly been practicing, and it's paid off. And I want to see it continue to pay off for him here, as you're going to see a great little block come in and the recovery right out of Jokr's gate.
Faster start as everyone dives straight into the action. I imagine this one is going to be fairly high octane, as the Jokers have a lot of energy, and they've already been showing that throughout the course of the day. A bit of passing so far to kick this one off. A bit of a stalemate towards the middle portion of the pitch, Jason.
By the way, just also to talk about, like, their parents are here. I mean, they can't legally come here without a guardian. So having, like, their parents watch them and kind of support them in their venture into esports is great to see. And obviously want to make them proud. But unfortunately for them, Ouroboros will be the first players to score off the bat. Nillywick, I'm sorry, I have to call him that jersey. Well, you should be happy I'm calling him that just because of the fact that's what he called himself. He's like, yeah, everyone just calls it a different name, so I just use whatever. I'm like, it's your name, man. You get to choose how people call you. And he's like, I don't care. But he's also, I think he's like 17. He's actually coming in, has to have a guardian as well. But let's see, as Ouroboros do come out of the gate swinging, take the early 2-0 lead. And now it's up to VRespawn Jokr to fight back.
Ooh, the early stun coming in, as they will be able to gain at least possession to kick this one off. Trying to cause a bit of a bait play, the nice back and forth pass to cause them to rotate in. This is going to be interesting, Jason. We saw Sundance talking to his teammates there, trying to adapt the play style, instantly delving back into this one. They do have control now. They're advancing. It looks like there could be potential for this one to actually be a bit of a opener on the side to further that score for Ouroboros. They're setting themselves up, the hyenas surrounding, ready to attack.
See a shot come in, and the goalie gets a little bit lucky there as the ding comes in. Looks like a player has dropped out of Jokr's side, so we'll obviously get to what that's going to mean. In terms of the typical rule set, that should be play till the score is made, but I don't know if actually you're going to have the rollback come in like we had with the Gravity match earlier on against the Kangorillas. But anyways, we're going to see Ouroboros with control. Nillywick going to be the one with disc in hand, looking for an opportunity to score. Again, like, they have an opportunity to pull off a three-pointer here if they want to. And they're actually going to miss the shot here up against the two players. Ouroboros is going to lose control of the disc.
This is rough. You got that duo in Kung and Ryan. Can they try and keep this together? I mean, right now, just going for the all-right aggression, the punch in the face, the stun.
I was going to say, if they somehow score off of this too, like, oof.
It would be lunacy.
Yeah, but you can see Ouroboros, they have a player back in the goal to defend, and it looks like they're just going to halt the play, I guess.
All right.
So I guess, yeah, all right. Looks like they're just going to...
We'll slow things down. We'll go again, Jason. We'll go from the top.
So I don't know what time we're going to start then into. Like, that's the thing. Didn't we started the timer when Gravity scored? Like, that's the time we went into, and we restarted the joust. No one scored, so where do you put the timer now? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully we get some information soon to see how they're going to sort this one out.
As you can see, Sundance actually trying to figure out what exactly is going on here as well, to figure this out even for themselves. The admin team do debate this one.
Well, for Jokr, it might be actually kind of in their favor that this happened, because it gives them some time to breathe and take a second, because the pressure was there. Like, if you look at possession time, Ouroboros definitely hands down had control of the disc for the most part. And we saw, you know, Jokr struggling to play on defense. Where they excelled when we were in the playoffs was actually controlling the disc themselves, controlling the pace of the game. And by pace, I mean a tortoise's pace, because they would slow things down and force you to come to them. They were more than happy playing the advantage card and playing with the time and forcing you to make a mistake, and then them to take an advantage off the back of that. So nice little breather for them to figure some things out. And luckily for us, if you look at other esports, there's nothing we can give away either. Yeah. Now they have their headphones off. It's not like we're giving them secret info.
Well, you can see even from like sort of the overall sort of body language we're seeing there, Ouroboros looking a lot more loose. They're kind of, you know, shaking it off, trying to keep themselves quite limber going into this, as it is a very physical sport. It really does take an awful lot out of you being strapped into VR like this for quite a lengthy best-of-3 series, really. Whereas it's a lot more stationary.
Well, we say lengthy.
You know, keeping themselves locked in over on that Jokr side.
We say lengthy, but looking at like the online matches, these are probably some of the quickest games we've had. Like, you know, talked about this before in the online, you know, cups. Typically, when you have two teams who are mismatched, like one team's way better than the other, the game actually lasts longer. And every other, you know, traditional esport, that will be a quick match. It'll be a stomp. But the way Echo Arena works at the moment, it actually makes the match longer. So the closer the teams are, the quicker the matches actually are. But I hear some rumblings of things maybe changing into Season 4. We'll obviously talk about that when we have more information on it, which will probably be in Season 4. But I'm hearing Season 4 is going to be definitely exciting when it comes to Echo Arena. But yeah, I mean, again, this comes into the experience. Like, Jokr being young players, and they have to brush it off. They have to kind of, keep that mental focus in these breaks, in these technical difficulties.
That's the worrying factor, right? As you can see, they do look a little bit rigid, almost as if they haven't quite gotten into it yet, just trying to, get themselves feeling quite fluid, because a lot of what feels like it could potentially throw you off in a game like this in VR across the entire VR league is the fact that you might just sort of lose that level-headedness, that level of confidence. You don't feel comfortable. It's very different being at home in your own environment. You know how much room you have. You know where you can overextend, really how you can just sort of be yourself into that game. It's very physical. You have to physically do everything on a one-to-one basis. Live here in the arena where you're trying to get your head around it. You've also got a tech issue now coming into the mix. It's your debut game. You know it's a single elimination bracket. All of this going through your mind could throw them off. So,
well, I'm getting information that we're actually going to be restarting at 3 minutes and 50 seconds around what the player did disconnect. So then we'll be hopping back into it. I'm assuming it's just an equal joust again, what they just reset in the middle. Yeah. Even though Ouroboros did have control and full control, to say the least. So we'll be going back into that. So now it comes down to jousting. Who's going to be the quicker one to get there off the get-go? And honestly, still just trying to, I guess, inform the teams of what's going to be happening, so we're all on the same foot when it comes to information of how this is going to go down.
Yeah, it looks like that is being transferred across the players, and then we'll delve our way back into this one as they set themselves up and get nice and limber, Jason. Really shake off those muscles. Get everything feeling nice and flowing.
Okay. I was just thinking about what you just said. Get everything nice.
Feel nice and flowing, shake it off.
I didn't know like flowing was a feeling.
Well, yeah, like, when your blood's pumping through you got the eye of the tiger.
Are we allowed to say that? Like copyright?
Other brands of song are available, of course.
In boxing type movies.
Yeah.
So there we go. Kicking things back off. Initial joust going to be coming back in again here out of both teams. I'm going to see VRespawn get the initial control. However, they immediately get crashed on. The disc going to be free floating as the player who was there actually got a nice double punch off to stun out the players who hit him as well. So they actually do delay things a little bit further. Nice little block comes in to prevent himself from being stunned. That's going to be Rhino coming through. And now Ouroboros with control are looking to go on the attack here and have an opportunity to go for the shot. The back forward going to land. Torrid gets to the 2 points on the board.
You're going to feel that one, Jason. The instant response there. Ouroboros, they got the 2-pointer before the pause. Straight back into it. They want another one.
They scored easier when it was 3v3 than a 3v2.
Well, the pressure was on them then. They were paranoid. They were worried about, laying the smack down.
Thing is, I don't want to count Jokrs out because of a certain thing we saw when Josie and I were casting the playoffs with them, is that they were a team who has done something I've wanted to see for a long time. They would go for 3-pointers and stun the goalie to actually allow the shot to go through. So I don't want to say 4 points is impossible to come back from. Definitely not with 3.5 minutes remaining. But we need to see VRespawn Jokrs have a good start here. And we've actually had a couple of interesting ways they start the round when they have the joust control by like going for a very leading pass into a player who goes very deep, but not able to get the initial comfort. And the problem is, well, they actually lost a player again. So it looks like we're going to be having a remake come in around 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I think Ouroboros should know that it's happened. They just look around and see there's only 2 players. Get that out of here. So that point should not score ideally if we're following the same rule set we started today. Or I guess I've used since the gravity match versus Kangarillas. And hopefully the issue can be sorted.
Yeah. Bit of an issue there, obviously. Definitely throwing a spanner in the works for these 2 squads going into this, especially for Jokr. It's got to be unfortunate. The fact
it's got to be frustrating for them.
Well, yeah,
because they want to play, right? They want to get the match underway. It's a best of 3 single elimination. Like they want to play their game, and then having issues come up for them really has to challenge you.
I mean, think about it, Jason. You heard the passion in their voices, the fact they were saying they've been friends. How long they've been actually playing together over that course of the year, constantly working towards the fact they wanted to compete in this competition. They wanted to try and pick up a win, walk away with that trophy potentially as their dream over the course of their run here in Leicester. And the fact that, it's come to a bit of a halt. They haven't really been able to sort of flex their muscles and show the level of damage they can do yet on the server. It's definitely going to grind things down to a little bit of an annoying halt for them. So hopefully once we get things sorted out, they can really get underway and show what they can do, because the run they had online is nothing to stick your nose up at. It was impressive, to say the least.
I mean, they beat Kangaroos 2-1.
Yep.
And then they beat Eclipse, like the back-to-back world
champions.
Like best team in the world, and they beat them 3-0 and made it look relatively easy. Now, I will put a slight asterisk next to it just for the fact that Eclipse didn't look as strong as they looked in the past. But for them to still be able to do it nonetheless was phenomenal to see, especially in a high-pressure game. And, Hasko, who's actually here with us, did a nice little like mini interviews with a lot of the players, and they were talking about how, I think it was, I want to say, let me check. Yeah, it was Jokr. It's like, he actually said one of the happiest moments of his life was when his team in Ec Arena beat the 2-time world champions Eclipse and qualified for the World Finals. As soon as they scored the final game-winning goal that guaranteed their spot at LAN, they all just screamed, took off the headsets for a couple minutes, and let it sink in. So you can see, like, obviously what it meant to them as well, and it meant to help justify the amount of time they're putting into this game, right? And justify it to their parents. Like, they already secured 5,400 USD just for being here alone, just for getting to this point. If they win this match, they go up to 9K.
It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous. Literally living the dream right now, putting themselves in a position to
go back to school, be like, yeah, I just made like 18, almost 19 grand over the weekend. What'd you do?
Right? You go home, you're just like, oh, so what did you do over the summer holidays? Oh, we went to England, you know, played some VR, absolutely smashed it. Everyone's just like, all right, that's sick.
Yeah.
It would
Hopefully come in with some flashy clothes into school, or whatever these kids, maybe some Tamagotchis. I actually know.
I think that's what they're into these days, right?
Things are coming back around, right?
Normally, it would be about now. Maybe a Jason Kaplan Tamagotchi. We'll work on it. Other brands are available.
That would be weird. Okay, so I'm getting information that actually the game should be up and running in just a few seconds. We're getting the spectators into lobby, and we should be continuing. I think it's around the 3-minute, 10-second mark. I don't have clarification on that just yet, but that looks like about when the disconnect came through. And if we're following suit from what happened earlier on today, then that should be about the time. And then the disk should be reset back in the middle too.
Technically, there is still a lot of breathing room, right? Jokr, they're not out of this one. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. We haven't essentially got down to like a 2-minute mark, or we're sat there with like 1 minute 30, and they can't really do too much. It's really going to be a risk of them actually even able to get back into the game. If they can utilize their playstyle you were talking about, much more aggressive, they're whipping out the big 3-pointers online, potentially, you know, a bit like Dame Lillard playstyle coming through, maybe they can start to work their way back into this one, Jason.
The only problem is that people have had time to analyze their games. Like, we obviously showed them, we broadcast them, we commented on them. They had time to look at like the way they start off the initial joust. They looked at the way that they like to go for passes, for the potential stunts for 3-pointers. And it comes now into homework. Like, have they learned anything new? Have they prepared anything special to use here on LAN? And if you have to use it now. There's no point waiting until later, because if you lose this match, you're out.
It's also if they've taken note of what is actually going on live right now, right? You've had 2 pauses already going into this one. You've had a little bit of playtime between both sides. Small formalities here and there to actually work out how your opposition is playing and what you can do yourself to counter that. And Ouroboros, for me, feel like the squad that might be quite aware. Obviously, we've seen them being very alert already, lots of back and forth, very loud team comms, and how they're actually sort of translating this to try and keep things going on the fly. If you've seen exactly how they're playing, you've realized compared to what you've seen with the online benchmarks, the playstyle hasn't changed, or if it has, what's different, you can counter that easily when we actually do get back into this, right? Because it's almost as if you've got a lot of downtime now to roughly have a quick back and forth about what's changed, what's going on.
By the way, just something I was just thinking about here. I would love to see, hopefully next season, the quest be used. And the fact is, like, Radar Head, who's going to be here later doing expert for Onward, like, he just set up in the hotel. He's like in the lobby, just like, hey, I want to play a quick game here. Just popped it on, played some Onward, had a good time. But to see like the players be on these platforms, on the stage, can be so sick when there's no cables like latched down, no sensors they have to worry about around them. It could be very cool to see if we do implement that into Season 4. But even coming into this with the potential to use the quests, I like how they kept using the original riffs so they can play with what they're comfortable with, right? Try to make it as similar to as home as they possibly can. And even a player earlier in the last match from Kangaroos, I think he even had like a little rug down on the ground to stand on, just to kind of make it feel like he's at home, you know, in his own place, in his own home, flat, whatever, playing the game he knows.
Well, that's one of the more interesting things as well that you notice, because obviously normally with a sort of a more classical FPS, the fact that it would be a keyboard and mouse that you're going to notice that it's different with the peripherals changing between a player by player, right? Here I'm looking at feet, Jason. I'm noticing socks, I'm noticing shoes, I'm noticing barefoot. I feel like at this point there is an open market for sock sponsors.
Yeah, we actually had some like sweet ESL socks, the yellow and green ones earlier on in the last match. I think it's all about being comfortable, and hopefully this game should be ready to go momentarily. It's just the first game in our best of 3.
Yep.
But that's pretty much going to do it for today. Like, once this best of 3 is done, we're done with that arena. We're moving on to Space Junkies, which will be coming up after this, moving on to Onward after that, and then coming back into the Echo universe with some Echo Combat as our last 2 games of the day. And that leads into Championship Sunday, which is, I guess, the perfect term to use, considering every game played tomorrow will be a final, will be best of 5.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like an Echo sandwich on either side right here for the VRL Season 3.
Some meaty Onward.
Yeah.
So what would Space Junkies be?
Oof. It would be like one of those...
crisp bacon?
Yeah, it's like a spicy topping. You throw it in there, you're like, damn. All right, I wanted some of that.
Yeah, like some Chipotle mayo.
Yeah, and
Something
Ryan's
like
kind of like the sauce that binds the whole thing together. Without Ryan, it doesn't work.
So wait, what would he be then? He's a sauce? I mean, he's very saucy.
He is. He's cheeky. I don't know.
He hasn't made any corny jokes, so he can't be like the cheese that binds the,
no, that's true.
the burger together.
Oh, it's a burger now.
Well, that's what I imagine.
All right. Well, then you've got a lot of leeway for sauce with Ryan.
Yeah. Some brown sauce, because that's like a thing in England. HP sauce, I think they call it.
Yeah.
There's some burger sauce in there. I don't know. You can go for wherever you want. Personally, I like ranch, which doesn't exist here in this country.
We'll leave that one up to people at home, Jason. They could tweet in. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know your favorite burger sauce.
Yeah. Which sauce is Ryan? Hit us up.
So, so we got confirmation that the goal was in fact scored before the crash happened. But if I remember correctly, the crash, I don't think that matters because the crash happened in the next playthrough anyways. So, I don't know. We'll see.
So a bit of
We're just going to hop in a game and see what's going down.
Yeah, a debate, I assume, of where this is going. It's a bit of a mixed bag, Jason. It's like a trail mix.
But look at these guys, though. I mean, the fact that Ouroboros is still sitting here, like, keeping himself warm, limber, still focusing on the match, you know?
That's sort of the point that I noticed before. Ouroboros seem a lot more sort of physical in the way they're sort of, they're moving around, they're trying to keep the blood flowing. Where Jokr, they did look a bit rigid. They were just sort of, keeping themselves to themselves. Don't know if that's changed up a little bit now, or a few of them have jumped back in game, as everything seems like it should be okay from here,
If the goals
Jason.
counted, shouldn't Ouroboros be up 6-0? Or am I just confusing myself? I don't know. Anyways, it's 4-0 at the moment. In the meantime, we do see Ouroboros looking to push up. Sundance looking for the shot. Ooh. Actually going to come through and be blocked out again. Credit to VRespawn, Jokr. They've been able to do that a couple of times now. That was crisp. That was very nicely executed. The finesse of that man was beautiful, and they're in position now to maybe make something out of this. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite get the grasp onto it. Leaves them in a little bit of an awkward spot. Not as much map control as they previously had, but still the aggression coming through to try and get one in. Oh, nice little recovery by Jokr with the interception, looking for potential shot. Instead, going to slow things down. They still have a halfway point, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Looking for a shot. Again, this is something I love to see. Slowing the pace, even though they're not in the lead this time. Is that the aggression is going to come out of Ouroboros eventually. And look at that little swing around coming through. We've actually seen some fantastic shots of VRespawn Jokr in the playoffs. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I want to say Jokr, where he went for a behind-the-back shot on the goal and smashed it through. So they are definitely some young kids who are bringing a new style here to the game. That's the thing that I've noticed the most, is the dexterity that all of them have. Very agile, they're very quick on their feet. Underhand shots too, especially Jokr. He's very known for that from what we've seen. Like the preferences we've seen from them, they're able to hit shots that most players aren't really going for, as continuously. They do try and pull a lot of those cheeky tactics out the bag, and for the most part, they seem to work quite effectively. Up close and personal now though, Jason off the backboard. That's a 2-point bounce. It's at least something. It's a start. An important goal. To say, okay, we can score. Guys, we can do this. They've been shut out so far within pretty much the first 4 minutes, 3 minutes of time. But to be able to put 2 points to the board, that has to alleviate so much pressure now that they can say, all right, guys, we got this. Let's go back to the style we know. Let's get aggressive. Let's catch out this disc. Let's get another 2 points on the board. Maybe a 3, which we saw Jokr go for from the shield, from the force field there. They're not scared of going for these shots, and I like this. I like the ballsy play out of them. Yeah, this is what we need to keep up. I mean, they said they weren't scared. They said they were going into it feeling pretty confident. That's a confident style of play. If you can stay commanding like that the entire way through, then Ouroboros might be in a little bit of a tough spot. Although we delve straight back into the action. Tons of control made. Nearly actually went in as well off the back of that. Luckily, VRespawn can grab it and chuck it away at least somewhat. Back in the hands of Ouroboros. Passing coming through, going to be a little bit missed. Going to be recovered out of Jokr. He really passes directly back to Kung too. That was a very quick pass. Really trusting he had a teammate in that position. And the recovery going to be bouncing off the walls. Almost going to actually catch over to the teammate who's pushed up aggressively there. However, it's going to be recovered out of the side of Ouroboros for a split second, as it does hit a bad pass as well. The passes have become very sloppy here in this Echo Arena sandwich. Yeah, this is a bit of a sloppy sandwich. Oh, the tap as well. It was so close. You heard the FUD as it nearly worked its way through. This constant high-speed passing, really. Everyone all out for it. There's blood in the waters, and the piranhas are swarming, not bananas. That's a completely different thing. Just imagine like a piranha that looks like a banana. But Ouroboros now have the opportunity to push up. They have a big advantage here. 3 against 1. Just deny the 3 points. Yeah. You're not really gonna have a chance to block that if you're the goalie. But just to deny 3 is your main priority there to make sure they can't get the extra points on the board. But that's going to lengthen the lead back to 4 here, and we've seen Jokr do this. They were down against Eclipse, and in 36 seconds, they came back and won the match after back-to-back goals. I'm not counting them out just yet, but as the time does tick away, their window to comeback is going to be shut down.
it's going to be really rough for them. That's the hard part, obviously, on this first opening map here going into it. You're now in a position where time is of the essence. It's really going to be ticking down. And it depends if it actually gets to them a little bit, Jason. Sometimes, you can see things starts going a little bit out of whack because you're trying to adapt for that time.
Look at this forward play. They have an easy 2 points. They can just recover it. They have a 2-on-1 here. It's just like a miss barely out of the hands of Ryan Rhino. And now the pass back is unfortunately not going to land either. I like their attack with the boost and the forward throw to pick it back up, but the time window is shutting. 15 seconds left to go. They need to score 2 points, or at least 3 here, to pull it into a potential win. Coming into the slam dunk. Now at 12 seconds left, VRespawn Jokr to be down by 2 points.
This is going to be hard. It's a very, very tall order for them. And I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain themselves to actually pick it up. You have no room for error now getting back into this.
Well, they have to crash directly onto whoever picks up the disc.
It's literally going to be a pixel-perfect play, or you're done and out in the opening map there, really.
I mean, that, or they have to predict where the pass is going to come in. So they have to send basically, like, I think, all 3 players directly for the disc. One sits back and tries to intercept the passes. They try to go for the quick clear. And then so they're going to come in. They're going to be crashing down on top of this disc as quick as they possibly have to be. 2 players go straight in for it, but unfortunately not able to catch them out in time. And Sundesk goes high and helps secure this first game here in this best of 3.
So all you had to do was delay with the time, and that is going to be Ouroboros taking it over. It's a 6-4 split there on the opening map for them. And this time around, Ouroboros proving that they're starting to chomp down on their own tail. They're looking like a mighty dragon out there.
Well, now they're 1 game away from pulling off an EU versus NA final, which is what we kind of wanted to see. However, you heard in the interview with Strambitsky, they'd rather play against Jokr, rather play against a team that they know from their own region that they play against week in and week out. But that hopes might be shattered. I'm curious how it's going to work, actually, because I talked to Niliwick in the shuttle on the way to the hotel, how prize money is going to work for him, because he came in for Ambient.
Yes.
But Ambient played the entire season and qualified them through, so Ambient should be getting, obviously, the prize money. But I wonder if they win matches, does he get the prize money now? Does Niliwick do it? Because he's playing in Echo Combat too. So we talked about, the side of Kangorilla's playing in 2 of the games. It's a lot of extra money on his side. It's a lot extra to play for him, especially with winning this first game. That has to put the realization to set in, saying, "Hey, we could do this. We actually could win this match and go through into the finals."
Which is a ridiculous feat to have already secured as well. You think of technically how early it is in sort of a day of them playing across the board here. You've walked into your first best of 3. If you're able to pick this up, you take that top seed away from the North American side, completely blow them out of the water, you secure the grand final. You're a best of 5 away from potentially walking away with that first, the first place prize, or on the other hand, if you do fall short there, Jason, it's already a huge bump up in that moolah they're going to be walking away with.
Extra 3,600 USD spread between you and your teammates. So that's an extra like grand.
That's tasty.
Extra 3,200 or 1,200 bucks to spend on. And I can't actually even think when I was 15 if I got an extra 1,200 bucks, what I would buy with it.
That's an awful lot of curly whirlies.
Yeah, and that's one of the best candies, if not the best here in England. Except Crispies. What's one with honeycomb in it? There's one with just candy bar with honeycomb in it.
I have no idea.
Whatever.
I've let you down. Sorry.
See, this is why Reinhardt would know. Candy bar that has honeycomb in it. What's it called? Okay, we're moving on. It took them too long. It took them way too long there, and now I can't hear him anymore because I have the headphones on. But it's not taking too long for the next match to start. It looks like the initial get-go worked out for Ouroboros. VRespawn Jokr looking to take control of the disc with the punch-out coming in. The disc is cleared back towards the side of VRespawn Jokr, but they have gained control now. Yeah,
this is nice. Good pack movement coming out there from the VRespawn side. The fact they are looking like a very well-oiled machine going back into this one. They'll try and learn from their mistakes into the previous match and really put the right foot forward going into this. Niliwick trying to gain control. Bit of possession coming through. You have an opening as well to actually pass this further back down, Jason. So maybe this could be where we see our first goal of the match coming into effect.
Oh, here we go. 3-pointer. There you go. Tor and Lance just barely as it dings as well at the same time. But they get the first 3-pointer of this match and get on the board now 3-0.
Seeming ecstatic there.
It's a very loud laugh.
That was loud.
Sorry, I just want to hear what they're saying.
Yeah, that's all good. That's what I was trying to do.
I think that's actually your audience talking. I thought that was the player. I think that's actually your audience. If I was on camera, I'm like, wait a minute. Anyways, now going to our next joust here. Oof. Yeah, immediate crash directly on to Kung, I think that was. Forward pass coming through yet again. Retrieved by Kung, actually. Trying to go for the clear, but back of the hands of Ouroboros. Their interceptions have been fantastic. They've been reading to where Jokr want to pass the disc constantly. And with the lead in their hands, they can slow the pace down and give Jokr a little bit of the medicine that they've treated a lot of the NA teams in the playoffs.
Nice level of passing coming through. Very swift, good synergy there. Everyone with a clear understanding of what the Ouroboros side wanted to do. No misplays, all clean, all collective. And that's another 2-pointer picked up there. Torin looking damn mean.
Thing is, thinking about, you know, the experience of a lot of these players, you've had Gravity and Kangaroos play against NA or play against EU before.
Yeah.
Jokr have not had the opportunity to play against EU, so playing against a different style that NA would normally not show them is going to be something that they have to adapt to and learn to adapt to on the fly. They've had the time with the first game to figure out what they want to do and to change their strategy. Now they need to implement it here.
Because you're really thrown to the wolves instantly. This being your opening matchup, Jason, as you said, it's that culture clash of different play styles that comes into effect. And Ouroboros are just having a field day with it. They're absolutely running away with this matchup so far. Let's see if they can try and carry that on as they want to cast another shadow over the Jokr side. Good passing again, just outmaneuvering them, Jason.
You can see the shot potentially coming in. Nice little pass to Torn again. I think Torn scored every single point so far for Ouroboros in this match. 7-0. And that's just starting to turn into a landslide here. Jokr not able to get off the ground running, unfortunately.
This is rough.
Dave.
All right, we get it. All day, I got it. I got it. But unfortunately, it's not all day because this is done. Ec.Arena's done after this game. We're going to move it into Space Junkies next.
The worrying factor is as well, this could technically be one of the highest point leads we've seen so far over the course of the day for this. They've all been fairly low games. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is really just going to keep inflating.
Well, we'll see. Nice forward pass again. Unfortunately, there's no one there to retrieve. I don't know if the pass is off or the misread came in, but Ouroboros are basically being gifted possession of this disc, it seems, every round.
And they can just burn clock here. They don't have to do too much. You can waste a ton of time. Just keep on trying to keep your opponent really on the back pedal and have to work their way much harder to get anything out of this.
He's got a 1v1 here. He's got a man flanking him from behind us. Pass down towards a low end ground yet again. Let's see. Pass back. Torn again. Tries to go for the softball pitch. It looks like, unfortunately, there's been another disconnect for Jokr, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure if they're going to reset back to time or what, but we'll continue to play this one out as we think it is still live at the moment. Ouroboros able to get the recovery and the clear towards the side of Jokr as they pick it back up. Nice little stun comes in, and the three-pointer being blocked out. Sundance just skates by, picks up the disc, and helps prevent the 3 points from going in.
That is rough. That could have been absolutely show-stopping. The fact that they were able to actually stop that is just ridiculous. Just now still being fed to the wolves. It's the 3-on-2, basically. Jokr, so unlucky the position they've been forced to play in. They're just left stuck in at this point. Another 2 points picked up. Torin with Sundance. Again, the aggressive combination. Those two boys have been lethal the entire day.
Oh, Torin hits the inside shot. It technically should not count if we're following the rule set from what we did earlier on today. But we'll see if they're going to go for the replay to bring in the disconnected player or if they'll continue to play from here. But 9-0 is a fantastic lead here for Ouroboros.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, back into the action here. 2 minutes left on the clock at this point, as they're going to swiftly return to form. Still currently left with just 2 men on the side of Jokr's. It is going to be a struggle for him to actually get too much going. Essentially, all Ouroboros need to do is burn clock and just take this one away from here, as they just have such a ludicrous lead already.
Well, the player's still disconnected.
Yeah.
So we should be paused right now, waiting for him to reconnect back in. So I'm not sure what's going on, but like this is basically Jokr being knocked out of the tournament because of this. So now he's fully dropped out. So now there should be a remake coming through. But like, again, this is single elimination.
Yep.
Like, and for Jokr, for it to happen to them right now, to potentially be knocked out because of that, I mean, not saying it was 100% possible to come back from a 7-0, but we've seen them come back from bigger scorelines than this.
It's rough. It feels like really on paper as well, if you look at these two squads, Jason, this would have been a much more closer game. The skill cap that we saw coming out from Jokr across the entire online season really here. This should have been a battle potentially for the ages between these two squads for our second spot in the grand final, but instead it's not looking great. Seems like we are carrying on here as well. 1 minute and 27 left on the clock. 12 points for Ouroboros and 2 players for Jokr.
I honestly have no words right now. Because we had this happen in the first game of the series.
Yep.
And then they remade at the time, and now they're continuing to play. I don't know what's going on. We'll just continue to cast it as another 3 points can be banked in out of Nillywick from long range. But you know what? If you're 3v2 and you don't make 3-pointers, then I would probably say you should go back to training.
Yeah, probably probably would be issues there if they were unable to. And you know, as you touched on, you said these games are normally longer, the more one-sided they are, and right now it is a 15-0 point lead, obviously elongating that overall clock with the constant resets we're having going back into it. So still only 2 players being fielded for the Jokr side. Looking like Ouroboros at this point, it is just a matter of time before the inevitable to actually take this.
So I'm being told this is live, by the way. So unless something changes last second, this is an official game now, still. But okay, maybe the League Ops is changing or is talking to the players because they've actually stopped playing here. I don't know. That would be a shame for Jokr. I mean, they came all the way out from the US. They, again, number 4 seed coming through by the last chance qualifier in the playoffs, and then it ended up being the number 1 seeded team and ended up actually taking first seed out of North America. But now, obviously, like, there's no reason to actually cast what's happening right now because both teams are just kind of messing around, as I'm assuming admins are talking to them. I want to assume that.
Well, it looks like they're just playing a game of catch, so I would imagine so at this point. That's probably what's going down, obviously, with our League Ops team to try and decipher some kind of change here that is good for everyone.
Okay, I think Kung has his headphones off because his arms are not that long in real life. All right, well, the time should be wasted here in the last few seconds. Having a nice little pass here. Hey, they're not missing their passes, though. That's going to feel good.
I mean, they're one of the best for passing. There's been a lot of eyes on them. People have said that. You know, Ouroboros are definitely a team that excel when it comes down to that level of synergy. That's what does give them a bit of an edge, Jason.